Everyone's going to tell you that you need to buy a nice car. Your parents said it, your friends are doing it. The car salesman down the street is literally betting his commission on it. But here's what nobody's talking about: that car sitting in your driveway isn't an asset. It's not freedom. It's actually the single biggest stealth tax on your wealth that nobody teaches you about. I'm going to be real with you folks. I lost $700 every single month in 2026 because I was making the same mistake. And today, I'm going to break down exactly how the car industry convinced all of us that paying $700 a month for something that loses value every single day is normal. Spoiler alert, it's not. And by the end of this video, you're going to see your car and your entire financial situation completely differently. This isn't about shaming anyone who has a car payment. This is about waking you up to what's actually happening to your wealth right now, in real time, while you're watching this video. This is about helping you understand the biggest financial mistake most Americans are making without even realizing it. Let me hit you with some numbers that should genuinely scare you. Americans right now owe $1.6 trillion in auto loans. That's trillion. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of Australia. We're talking about 108 million auto loans spread across this country, which means roughly 1 out of every 3 Americans is making a car payment right now. Think about that. If you're in a room with 2 other people right now, one of you is probably trapped in a car payment. It's become so normalized that we don't even talk about it anymore. But here's where it gets wild. The average new car payment has skyrocketed to $745 a month. Let that number sit for a second. That's more than some people pay for rent. And used cars? Those are averaging $521 monthly. That's still a substantial chunk of change. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night. People aren't paying these loans off quickly. The average auto loan is now almost 69 months. That's nearly 6 years of payments for something that's guaranteed to be worth way less every single month you own it. Think about that. You're committing 6 years of your life to paying for something that's getting cheaper every single day. It's absolutely insane when you sit with it. Now, let me break down what's happening in your specific financial situation, because this is where it gets personal. You're probably making somewhere between $40K and $90K a year if you're in Gen Z or early millennial, right? You've got a 401K that you're trying to max out or at least contribute to. You're thinking about a Roth IRA. Maybe you've got some money sitting in a HISA, a high-yield savings account, trying to build that emergency fund. These are the right moves financially. You're doing the homework. You're trying to build wealth the right way. And then you get approved for a $45,000 car loan. The approval letter comes through. You feel validated, like, okay, banks trust me. I'm creditworthy. And suddenly, that extra $700 a month that could have gone into a Roth IRA, where it would grow tax-free for the next 35 years, is now going to a car that will be worth $27,000 in 5 years. Do you see what just happened? You gave up hundreds of thousands in potential wealth building for transportation. Here's what everyone gets wrong. They focus on that $745 monthly payment and think, okay, I can handle that, but that payment is literally the tip of the iceberg. And I mean that seriously. According to the American Automobile Association, and these are 2026 numbers, the total cost to own and operate a new vehicle is over $12,000 per year. That's over $1,000 every single month when you factor in everything. Let me break this down because it's important you see the full picture. The car payment itself is $745. Then you've got gas at current 2026 prices. You're looking at about $186 a month depending on your driving habits. Then insurance, if you're financing, they require full coverage. So you're looking at $175 to $225 a month minimum. Add in maintenance and repairs, which averages $126 a month for a new car. Then registration, taxes, inspections, throw another $50 a month at that. That's $1,282 per month, minimum for one car. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong. But we all know that's not how reality works, right? That $126 for maintenance, that's just the baseline. That's oil changes, tire rotations, air filters, the stuff that goes right according to plan. But real life doesn't work like that. Real cars break down. Real life throws curveballs. I got a text from my buddy Jake 2 weeks ago. His transmission went out, $840, just gone. He wasn't expecting it. Nobody plans for a transmission repair. Then it's another $500 for brake work. Then the air conditioning stops working, another $600. Before you know it, you're in $3,000 in surprise repairs that your budget didn't account for. And here's what kills me. He was already stressed about money. He was already living paycheck to paycheck. And then the car decided to cost him $3,000 he didn't have. He had to put it on a credit card. Now he's got a car payment and credit card debt. So when you're sitting at home right now making $60,000 a year, that's $5,000 a month after taxes, and you're committing $1,282 to car ownership, You're dedicating over 25% of your take home to a depreciating box that you sit in for 45 minutes a day, commuting to a job you probably don't even like. And here's the brutal part. Every single penny you spend on that car, the payment, the gas, the insurance, the maintenance, the surprise repairs, all of it is gone forever. It's not building equity. It's not generating returns. It's not creating wealth. It's just disappearing into the automotive black hole, never to be seen again. It's value that's completely gone. You can't recover it. You can't invest it later. It's just gone. Okay, let's talk about the real problem, depreciation. This is where cars officially become wealth-destroying machines. You buy a brand new BMW 3 Series for $50,000. You drive it off the lot. You know what it's worth now? 40? In literally one drive, you lost 10 grand before you even made it home. That's 20% of your money evaporating instantly. Just gone. Poof. And it doesn't stop there. After 1 year, you're looking at another 20% drop. After 5 years, most cars lose up to 60% of their value. Let me spell that out. If you drop 50K on that BMW, in 5 years, you're looking at maybe 20,000 if you're lucky. That's 30,000 in wealth destruction. That's more than most people make in a year. Just vanished. But here's what really gets me. You're still making payments on all 50,000 for most of those 5 years. So you're underwater. You owe more than the car is worth. That's called being underwater. And it's a trap that keeps you locked in financially. The average new vehicle loses about 5,000 in value annually for the first 5 years. That's 5,000 of your money just evaporating. On top of all the other costs we just talked about, let me do the math. 5 grand a year times 5 years, that's 25,000 in depreciation alone. Add in the payments, 745 times 60 months, that's 44,700. Add gas, insurance, maintenance, you're easily looking at 60,000 plus spent on a car that's now worth 20,000. And if you're thinking about going luxury, oh man, folks, a Cadillac Escalade ESV, you're looking at losing 63,885 over 5 years. A BMW 5 Series Hybrid, the car that's supposed to be better for your wallet, loses nearly 38,000 in 5 years. A Maserati Quattroporte, try 90,000 in depreciation. That's generational wealth. That's your kid's college fund. Just gone. And here's what gets me. That's not theoretical money. That's real money that real people are losing. Money that could have been in an index fund. Money that could have been working for you, compounding, building wealth for decades. Think about this if you're 25 right now and you lose 25,000 in depreciation on your first car, and that money could have been invested at 8% annual returns for 40 years until retirement at 65. That 25 would have turned into over 680,000. One car, one depreciation hit, 680,000 in lost retirement wealth. That's the real cost of depreciation. It's not just what you lose today, it's what you lose tomorrow, because that money isn't being invested and compounded over decades. Okay, this is where I want you to actually think about your future, because this is the part that should change your mind. Every single dollar you spend on a car is a dollar you can't invest. And when you understand compound interest, when you actually grasp what your money could be doing over 30, 35, 40 years, the math becomes terrifying. Let's run some numbers. Say you're deciding between a Toyota Corolla and a Range Rover. The Corolla is going to cost you about $27,000 total over 5 years of ownership. The Range Rover, around $118,000. Most people look at that and go, yeah, obviously the Range Rover is more expensive, but they're missing the actual story. If you take that $91,000 difference and you invest it at a conservative 6% annual return for 30 years, you end up with over $521,000, $500,000. That's the true cost of that Range Rover. You're not just spending an extra $91K, you're giving up $500,000 in wealth building. That's a house. That's your kid's education. That's real generational wealth. And here's the thing, most of us don't buy one car in our lifetime and call it good. We get stuck in this cycle. It's a trap that repeats. New car every 5 years, latest features, newest model, better gas mileage, improved safety ratings. It feels responsible, right? Like you're making smart decisions. But let's actually calculate the lifetime opportunity cost. If you buy a car every 5 years throughout your 40-year working life, following typical American car buying patterns, that's 8 cars. And if each car cycle costs you around $60,000 in total ownership, payment, depreciation, insurance, gas, maintenance, that's $480,000 over your lifetime. But that's not the real number. The real number is the opportunity cost. If you invested that $480,000 at an average 8% return over 40 years, you'd have nearly $10.8 million. Let me say that again. The lifetime opportunity cost of buying a new car every 5 years is over $10 million in missed wealth building opportunities. I know that number sounds insane, but it's not. The math is straightforward. You're sacrificing $480,000 in spending. That $480,000, Zero, zero, zero. Invested and compounded over 40 years at 8%, which is historically conservative for the stock market, turns into 10.8 million. Think about what that means. $10.8 million. That's the difference between a comfortable retirement and a struggling one. That's whether you can retire at 55 or you're working until you're 75. That's whether your kids have to take out student loans or you can pay for their college outright. That's whether you leave them $50,000 or $500,000 when you pass away. That's not the cost of the cars. That's the cost of not investing that money. That's your retirement. That's generational wealth you're not building. That's the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring stressed. Here's what happens when real life starts happening. You get this job offer, great salary, different city, better opportunity. But first, let's check your car situation. You owe $32,000 on a vehicle that's worth $24,000. You're underwater by $8,000. Can you just leave it? No, you can't get out of that loan. So you got to roll that negative equity into your new car loan. So now you're buying a $35,000 car with an extra $8,000 tacked on from your last vehicle. You're now starting at negative $8,000 on a brand new loan. This happens constantly, and it's brilliant from the dealer's perspective. It's a financial disaster from yours. You get divorced. Who gets the $47,000 car loan? You're fighting over a depreciating liability in divorce court. That's your money. That's your kid's college fund being argued over because of a car decision you made 3 years ago. That's incredibly painful. You lose your job, economic downturn, company restructuring, whatever. You're making $3,000 this month from unemployment, but your car payment is $745. Your insurance is $200. You're already $550 in the hole before you've bought groceries, before you've paid utilities, before you've done anything else, and you can't just give the car back. It doesn't work that way. If you stop making payments, they repossess it, and then what? You don't even have the car anymore, but you've got a deficiency judgment hanging over your head. That means you still owe the difference between what the bank got at auction and what you originally owed. You're out a car and out thousands more in debt. This is the trap. Once you sign that paperwork, you're financially handcuffed to that depreciating asset. It limits every major decision you make for the next 5 to 7 years. It makes you stay at jobs you hate because you need that steady income to make the payment. It makes you turn down opportunities. It makes you stay in bad situations because you can't afford to lose that income. It literally controls your life. And the worst part, everybody's doing it. So it feels normal. It feels like just part of adulting. Everyone has a car payment, so you should too, right? Wrong. That's exactly the trap. Let me tell you something that car dealerships don't want you to know. They make more money on financing your car than on the car itself. Like, it's not even close. That's why every interaction is designed to make you think about monthly payments instead of total cost. The salesman doesn't ask, "What's your budget for this purchase?" They ask, "What payment are you comfortable with?" And here's why that matters. If they can stretch your loan from 5 years to 7 years, the monthly payment looks reasonable even though you're paying thousands more in interest. It's the oldest trick in the playbook. They know you won't do the multiplication. They're betting on it. They know that if you see a $700 monthly payment, you think you can handle it. But you don't do the real math. 700 times 60 months is $42,000. But with interest, you might actually end up paying $52,000 for a $45,000 car. That extra $7,000 is pure profit for the bank. And you don't even notice it because you're focused on the monthly number. Here's another angle. Gap insurance, rollover loans, extended warranties. They've created an entire ecosystem of products designed to keep you trapped in the car payment cycle. They're all profitable because people don't understand the real numbers. And here's the psychological manipulation that actually gets me upset. Cars have become status symbols in our culture. We judge people based on what they drive. We see someone in a new BMW and make assumptions about their success. We see someone in a used Honda and think something less than that. And the car companies know this. They've spent billions conditioning us to tie our identity to our vehicles. Their commercials don't talk about reliability anymore. They sell you a lifestyle. You see this gorgeous family driving through mountain roads. You see someone pulling up to the country club in a pristine vehicle. You see the adventurous type conquering any terrain, and somewhere in your brain, you start thinking, I deserve that. I work hard. I should reward myself. And that's exactly what they want you to think. Because when you're thinking with emotion instead of math, you make bad financial decisions. They've literally weaponized envy and the desire to succeed and turned it into a machine that separates you from your money every single month. You know who doesn't have a car payment? Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, the people who actually understand money. Warren Buffett drove the same Cadillac for 8 years after he was a billionaire, not when he was starting out, not when he was in his 30s. When he was literally one of the richest people on the planet, he drove the same car for 8 years. Why? Because he understood that cars are tools, not investments. He understood that a 50,000 car and a 75,000 car get you to the same place. Mark Cuban drove a 1999 BMW for years after selling broadcast. Calm for nearly $6 billion. $6 billion? And he's driving a 1999 BMW. These aren't people who couldn't afford new cars. They're people who understood the opportunity cost. They understood the math. Here's what changed in my financial situation when I stopped making car payments. Everything changed. First, I have options. I'm not chained to a specific income level. I could take a job that pays 20% less if it's the right fit, because I'm not panicking about a $700 monthly obligation. I have freedom. My career decisions aren't dictated by a car payment. Second, I can actually invest instead of $1,282 a month going to depreciation, insurance, and repairs. I put that into a low-cost index fund. We're talking about VTSAX, VO, SPY total market index funds that just track the market. That's passive income building. That's wealth being created while I sleep. Every month, that money is working for me instead of working against me. Third, I sleep at night. I don't have the stress of being underwater on a loan. I don't have the psychological weight of being financially handcuffed to a depreciating asset. That stress is real. That anxiety costs you. It affects your health. It affects your relationships. When you remove that burden, everything gets better. And the psychological impact of not having a car payment is almost as valuable as the financial impact. When you don't have that monthly obligation, your entire financial psychology shifts. You're not making decisions based on fear. You're making decisions based on actual strategy. You're thinking clearly. You're building towards something instead of just surviving month to month. Here's what you actually do right now if you currently have a car payment. Drive that car until it's paid off. And when it's paid off, keep driving it. A 5-year-old Toyota Camry with 60,000 miles is just as reliable as a brand new Camry. Maybe even more reliable because the manufacturing quirks have been worked out. Modern cars are insanely reliable. A 2019 Honda Accord with 80,000 miles will run for another 8 to 10 years if you maintain it properly. Once your car is paid off, that $700 payment becomes your investment fund. That's not a suggestion. That's the rule. Max out your Roth IRA first, that's $7,000 a year. Then the rest goes into index funds or a brokerage account. You're putting money to work, not burning it on depreciation and interest. If you're looking to buy your first car, do not finance a new car. I'm going to be very direct about this. Buy a 3 to 5-year-old vehicle that someone else took the depreciation hit on. Pay cash if you can. If not, finance it for 2 to 3 years maximum. Keep that car for 8 to 10 years. The safety technology in a 2021 car is incredible. Autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring. You don't need the 2026 model. You really don't. And here's the final lesson I want you to take away from this video, because this is the thing that changes everything. Your car payment is not just money you're spending. It's freedom you're sacrificing. Every single month that $700 leaves your account, you're saying something very specific to the universe. You're saying, I'm okay staying trapped in this job. I'm okay not taking risks. I'm okay not building wealth. I'm okay not having options. I'm okay giving up my future for my present, because that's what it really means. A car payment isn't just a car payment. It's a vote for financial slavery. It's choosing the comfortable present over the free future. It's sacrificing tomorrow for today. When you're sitting at a dealership listening to someone explain why you absolutely need that premium package with the leather seats and the panoramic sunroof you'll never use, remember this video. Remember that every dollar you spend on that car is a dollar that can't compound for 30 years. It's a dollar that can't buy you the one thing money actually purchases. Freedom. Freedom to leave a bad job. Freedom to take risks. Freedom to build something. Freedom to retire early. Freedom to say no. Freedom to say yes to what matters. Your future self, the one who wants to retire comfortably, the one who wants options, the one who wants actual financial independence. That person is looking back at you right now. They're watching you make this decision. And they're either going to thank you for making the boring choice, or they're going to regret every single car payment you made. So here's what I want you to do. Make the boring choice. Drive that paid off car. Invest the difference. Build wealth while everyone else is making payments. Your net worth in 30 years will thank you more than any car ever could. Your freedom will thank you more than any luxury feature ever could. If this video changed how you think about cars and money, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content that actually tells you the truth about personal finance. And let me know in the comments, what car are you driving? Are you making a payment on it? What are you going to do differently after watching this? What's holding you back from making the boring choice? Let's talk about it. I I read the comments and I want to know where you guys are at with this stuff.